The next item on our agenda is recognitions of persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is for citizens to address any questions or comments to the board. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. I will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response. I would also like to just make a mention of our board policy and bylaws. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name and address. Please come to the center microphone, and each statement should be limited to 5 minutes. My first screen card is Alan Reichle.
Good evening. Here we go again. Higher taxes, more wasteful spending, and the beginning of a long dog and pony show. Voters voted overwhelmingly not once but twice against tax hikes. The superintendent has said that they heard the people. Well, after reviewing your current proposal, you apparently didn't hear a damn thing. In the aftermath of both tax elections, the board has learned nothing.
Mr. Reichle, let's please keep your comments civil, please, without the use of profanity.
After reviewing your current proposal, you apparently, in the aftermath of both tax elections, this board has learned nothing. They have no long-term plan to balance the budget. They have no maintenance plan. They have no budget for technology. No plan B. I've got to hand it to you. Every time I think you can't get more sneaky, every time I think you can't get more underhanded, you rise to the occasion. Information I obtained through a FOIA request to the Department of Treasury reveals that for months you've been planning to sneak an election on the March ballot. Nice try. Even with the stonewalling from the superintendent and her assistant, you couldn't hide this one. In 2018, the superintendent received a nice bump in pay. Most schools in our district do not have air conditioning, yet the superintendent and administration...
I'd like to stop your comments for clarification. I did not receive any increase in pay. I just want to make sure the comments are clear.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I have your contract right here if you want to look at it. Most schools in our district do not have air conditioning, yet the superintendent and administrative staff in this building not only have air conditioning, but they've had it for a while. While students are suffering in summer and winter with HVAC issues, rest assured, the superintendent is good and comfortable in this building. The board spends tens of thousands of taxpayer money on conferences for board members, or as I like to call them, taxpayer-funded frat parties. You talk about putting students first, but unfortunately that's all it is, talk. The superintendent claims that the school district has a declining budget. That's actually not true. In fact, let's take a look at some numbers. According to the latest school district audit on page 9, it shows an increase in revenue. That's right. Despite declining enrollment of students, the school district budget has increased, and not just a little bit. In 2014, the school district budget was sitting at $39.7 million. In 2015, it increased to $39.9 million. In 2016, $40.3 million. In 2017, $40.7 million, and in 2019, $41.4 million. According to the Michigan Department of Treasury, the East China School District brings in more local tax revenue than any other district. That's an indisputable fact. District leadership still refuses to set aside money for maintenance of buildings and technology. Despite these facts, if that's not a blatant mismanagement of funds, I'm not sure what is. Special interest groups in the last election and in this one are pouring money in from outside the district to raise taxes. The fact is, more than 85% of the total contributions to this local political action committee supporting this tax increase are reported from corporations and political committees. Those are special interests. In fact, over $11,000 of which came from political groups, contractors, lobbyists, and administrative staff. Companies like EnviroClean, Semco Energy, and the MEA Political Action Committee. This does not include the many thousands expended by our tax dollars or from the company the district paid to lobby this as well. Less than 15% came from individual contributors according to information obtained through a FOIA to the St. Clair County Clerk's Office. I don't doubt the sincerity of those parents pushing this tax increase, but I do question the motives of the leadership of this district who are pushing this proposal with special interest money and, yes, our tax dollars. In the last election, the superintendent was quoted in countless places, with those echoing that if we do not vote for a new high school, they would consolidate them anyway. They blasted myself and others, calling us liars for calling their bluff. Well, here we are, almost exactly a year later, and guess what? I hate to say I told you so. That was simply a scare tactic to get people to vote yes. There is an argument on their side that suggests that those of us opposing this massive tax hike are against students, that we don't support education. The truth is, this tax proposal, it's a joke. The process was a sham and you know it. It's quite simple after all. We all support students and schools. What we don't support is your continuous mismanagement of funds. What we don't support is your use of children for a political purpose and your failed leadership. Top-level administrators have taken pay raises.
Mr. Reichle, your 5 minutes are up. Please step aside. My next green card is Jeff Cook.